you're not holding her.
Are we missing people?
I think a couple.
Oh yeah, I see some couple. Welcome everyone. What a total pleasure. What a total pleasure to be here. And if anyone has hearing, is sensitive to hearing and the volume of hearing so that you can't hear me well, when we reseat ourselves, it would be good to sit close to me because I actually don't have a very loud voice, so that would be great. So it is really a unique occasion in the world for queer women, trans, bi, to come together and practice the Dharma, to practice a practice of liberation. It is really unique, and so I just wanted to acknowledge that because we live in the Bay Area, or some of us live in places like Northampton where there are a lot of queer activities, that it's easy to take it for granted that things like this are normal and part of our lives, and also to acknowledge that it's really unique and an incredible blessing that we have the opportunity, because of all our the women who have come before us and fought for this, for us to come together and to practice the practice of liberation, of freedom, of love, of awakening. And it is a total pleasure to be here with you. So welcome, welcome. And it would be nice to for us to go around and to introduce ourselves and to say our names and maybe where we're from. And what energy or quality you would like to bring into this weekend to support us in this process. And don't practice it. Wait until it's your turn and then just see what comes through.
It's too late.
Do you want to ground us in management stuff? Or is this
Just
back into the So sometimes we get to a place and we're like, why am I here again, especially after we've heard all the announcements. And it's like, what am I doing here? It's hot and the mosquitoes are biting me. So I wanted to read a poem by Dawu from Wentong Jilin Rune in China. She lived, she was born in 1854 and died in 1927. The 10,000 conditions of the world have all dropped off. All that is left is this true heart, mind, invoking Buddha's name. With a single invocation, I transcend the bitterness of this world. Greed, anger, ignorance, and desire are completely uprooted. In complete and naked purity, I dwell with a tower of radiant light. Having realized the Dharmakaya, I am free from the wheel of suffering. Once I fulfill my vow to attain the perfect purity of the land of bliss, I will return to this world of suffering to liberate sentient beings. So when we take refuge in this capacity to completely cut off the roots of greed, anger, and hatred, of desire, envy, and jealousy. We have the capacity to open or awaken our hearts in such a way that it can be described as the Tower of Light, as dwelling in naked purity. And the beauty of taking the refuges at the beginning of a retreat like this, and actually traditionally in Burma, we take the refuges before every sitting. So it's something that we can do over and over again, is that it's this reminder. It's this reminder that we have this capacity to awaken. Having said that and named it, often the very first thing that comes up is, it's fine, other people can do it, I can't do it. You know, my mind is a mess, I have no concentration, it's distracted, I'm irritated all the time, I can't bear anyone in this world, I came here so I didn't have to talk to them. And it's also true for you. For all of us, because we are alive and because we are human beings, we have this capacity. And so I just want to invite you now, if there is any question inside of you or any doubt that this isn't true, just to acknowledge it so that the doubt doesn't run your consciousness. Just to acknowledge, oh, there's doubt. That's just the nature of doubt to doubt. All the teachers for 2,500 years have been inviting each one of us to this deep faith and refuge, to orient ourselves and our lives to this deep invitation. It is why we are alive, that we can purify and awaken. It's a developmental path, and we don't know when that opening happens. We just continue to practice. The inspiration for our practice is taking this refuge. So see if you would like to formally take the refuge. I take refuge in my capacity to awaken, to uproot all the coverings of my heart, my greed, anger, and hatred. I take refuge in my Buddha nature, in my Kuan Yin or Tara nature. I take refuge in my capacity to awaken. There's doubt there or arguments, no problem, we just acknowledge them. If there's a sense of alienation, no problem, we just acknowledge it. And this acknowledgement is our second refuge. The Buddha said that we can take refuge and have total faith in that capacity to know and acknowledge our experience. And that in this knowing and acknowledging, a purification happens, an opening happens, a freeing from the negativities happens. We take refuge in the practice of being mindful and aware. We take refuge in the practice of loving kindness and acceptance, and in the practice of all the energies that we brought forth tonight. This is taking refuge in the Dharma. We take refuge in the Dharma, the practice of opening.